Hey there, afternoon, actually early evening for me, afternoon, morning to wherever you are at in this world. I'm coming to you live from the Ozarks. I should have put that in the Conscious Coffee title. I have no coffee. I had coffee at 5 a.m. Not coffee at 5:30, 6 o'clock today. But I'm out here in the Ozarks. Finally arrived to our house. It's like a 6.5, 7-hour drive to get out here. I'm going to go show you guys a little bit of where I am at for the next few days. Just a wooded area, you see? There's a great big fire forest. I rented this great big cabin. My second oldest daughter, who does most of my photography, and her family, her man and their 3 babies. And we got 2 extras, plus, you know, my 2 little ones, my 5-year-old, my 17-year-old, plus my 14-year-old and my 16-year-old. And my guy, we are all out here. And I believe that is like 56 or 58 acres out here in the Ozarks. I'm getting around to the front of the property here. You guys got to see this driveway. It is absolutely amazing. It's very, very cool. They're looking at me like, what is mom doing? That's my 6. Say hi. You're on camera. Say hi. Say hi to everybody. So, yeah, we're in this cabin here. They're heading out. But look at our drive. Just out in the middle of nowhere. So that's where we're at. Out here at the very start of the Ozarks. Tomorrow we're off to find some hiking trails, heard about some watering holes, some swim holes that we can go. Sunday we're off to horseback riding and all that good stuff. So it is hiking and horseback riding, and hopefully not getting any ticks in our bodies, because my son-in-law here, we weren't out here 3 minutes when he had a tick on his leg. So yeah, that's why I'm not going to take you guys through the woods, because I am in shorts. I'm in yoga shorts, and I'm not going to go and hunt down the ticks for myself. I am going to find like a log or something to sit on to talk to you guys, or maybe just a tree. So yeah, so my topic of today is to follow soul is not popular. And it's so funny. The woman I count as my mentor, I'm like, she keeps stealing my topics. And I know that I do that to some people that I've worked with and everything. Like, I steal their topics of the day. It just goes to show like what the energy of the day is about. But as I was driving up here from Dallas today, I'm like, you know, thinking about all these different things to talk about. And I was like, oh, I could talk about this, or I could talk about that. Maybe I should talk about sex. Maybe I should talk about relationship. Maybe I should talk about that. Anyway, you know, unfortunately, our world is where our world is at, and there's just a lot of hatred. A lot of hatred. It's really quite sad how much hatred is being shown in the world. And, you know, it's just like we're in this almost, for sake of better words, apocalyptic times, because there's so much upheaval and fear-driven everything that's taking place. You know, what do we got? We got all of the riots and the racism and cops not being good cops and destroying bad cops' names. And then we've got, you know, COVID. Is it real? Is it not real? Yes, it's real. Okay, but are masks required? Should they be required? You know, is that taking away our rights? Is it not taking away our rights? All these different beliefs. Do masks really work? I mean, the CDC, the WHO said back in March that it didn't work. Now they say that they do work. Now everybody's, you know, like stores, all that kind of stuff. You're damned if you do, you're damned if you're not, if you don't. And then the other day when I was down in Corpus, I saw something about there being a shortage of coins, and then you know, all this stuff was coming out about currency and about, you know, that the cash is starting to be gathered up so that we can become a cashless society. And what does cashless society actually mean? And oh, there's a more conspiracy theory about that. And stop thinking that your liberties are being taken. Stop thinking that your rights are being taken. Stop thinking this, stop thinking that, blah, 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 that's stupid. And then the other side of it is, well, you're stupid, you're a sheeple. If you're not seeing the writing on the wall, we're becoming a communist nation. So again, you're damned if you do, you're damned if you don't. And then we have this whole shit with Wayfair and Tom Hanks and, you know, Wayfair selling cabinets that are like $250 to $500, maybe $1,500 metal cabinets with missing girls' names and ages on them, you know, like Samara 16, and all these things coming up about, you know, like, oh, I bought the Samara 16 and it brought me so much pleasure and was so useful for the first week and blah, 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 blah. And then if you look in the actual missing people reports, you'll find Samara 16 was missing, you know, 2 weeks ago in New Jersey. Now, I'm throwing out names there, okay? I've been using the Samara, I must have read it someplace, but the point is I know that I've been hearing a lot of things around, you know, you need to be aware. And I do believe in awareness. I do believe in freedom. I don't believe in all the fear that we have going on. I think that the more we, pretty dragonfly. Hold on, let me see if I can catch it on here. If you guys can see that dragonfly or not. I don't believe in falling prey to the fear. I believe that the universe doesn't give a rat's rear end what we humans choose to do and how we choose to create suffering for ourselves. I believe that we are in an attraction-based universe, and that attraction-based universe holds true to its principles, to its laws, that how we feel, what we think, and what we choose to focus on is exactly what we end up drawing to us. With that said, it's amazing how it really is, there's this drawing of lines in our communities, in our you know, countries, states, cities, you know, even in our neighborhoods and within families. There's definitely a draw that's going on. And what I mean by that is it's like we are in, you know, we look back in time, and I was discussing this with my son-in-law driving up here, I was like, you know, if we look back in time over the course of all history, if you go back to the War of the North and the South here in the United States, you can find sons that, you know, battled against each other. I have that in my genealogy. I have this tale of a mother whose two boys, one went with the support, and so they were hating on each other. They both wrote home to mom and talked about what was going on. But you have these stories where those same sons, if the parents didn't agree with their way, you know, they would come and they had no problem arresting their family, they killing their family. My mom grew up in World War II in Nazi Germany, you know, and she was through 5 different concentration camps. She got bombed out 7 times. My grandfather was killed in Odessa, Russia at the end of the war, right before Hitler actually was taken down. And I remember the tales that she told about different things and how that happened, and how literally neighbors turned against neighbors and family turned against family. And, you know, where children literally would come in and line their siblings up, their little siblings up, and execute them because of their beliefs, or because they refused to, you know, support what was going on, because they didn't believe that just because somebody had Jewish blood or had a belief structure made them dirty, made them filthy, made them dangerous. And here we are again, right there, right at that precipice of families turning against families, and friends against friends, lovers, community, you know. And I see it so greatly out there, and I get hit every single day. I'm getting hit with, you know, for making unpopular statements. For some, the statements that some don't want to hear, or they condemn me for it. And I know that, like, my mentors and fellow coaches out there, and other educators and leaders in different communities, spiritual, you know, self-development, law of attraction focused educators and coaches out there, we're all getting hit with this whole thing of that, you know, a lot of us are preaching that we're not falling prey to the fear. We're not focusing in on all this different stuff. We are focusing in on that we are living in a law attraction based world still, that the universe still operates at that level. So we don't want to necessarily focus on it, but at the same time we want to bring awareness to topics. And funny enough, a lot of people out there in positions like myself, and even of course bigger, the people that I count as leaders, to me, that that I get my education from, that I get my coaching from, that I get my support from, the Tony Robbins of the world and all of that, those people do not view what is going on from what is being called like the sheeple perspective, right? The perspective of just do as you're told and all will be right in the world. The majority of us are not falling to that way of thinking, because that is not empowering to the human soul. That is not ever going to bring about happiness. It will cause that separation even more so, because it takes us out of soul alignment. And it doesn't feel good to exhibit and spew out so much anger and hatred and control. Some of us are more comfortable with anger. But just because one is comfortable spewing out anger, one is comfortable living in suffering or in hatred, one is comfortable wanting to control another, does not mean that they are happy. It doesn't mean that they are successful in being true to themselves. What it means is that they're just comfortable in that process, and that they're not actually, they've been out of alignment for so long that they don't really truly know what alignment feels like. Because anybody who has ever tasted just a smidgen of alignment, when we feel hatred, when we feel jealousy, when we feel control, it is the most disgusting feeling. Like I get so upset with myself when I feel something so critical about another human being. I quickly recognize the criticalness that I have in myself toward myself, and I go, oh, I am so out of alignment right now, and this is only going to draw to me all the things that I don't want to come into my world. I would so much rather focus on the beauty that exists. I would so much rather focus on the love, on the connection that I have in my life, on the people that I know, that being a positive ripple effect. And I know that recently I've been told, you're not a positive ripple effect. Who do you think you are to preach this? Who do you think you are to say that? Blah, blah, blah. You're preaching fear by saying don't wear a mask. That you don't believe in masks. You're preaching fear by saying that, that you're a non-vaxxing mom. You're preaching fear by saying this or that. And I'm like, I want to take it. I'm just sharing my perspective. On any given day, when I do these conscious copies, when I write my musings, that is what's kind of turning around inside of me. Those are truly my viewpoints and where I'm at. And what I never ever put something out that feels gross to me, that feels like I am even in any desire for anybody to believe. I don't care if everybody agrees with me. I'm okay with the world disagreeing with me. I understand that I have a different take on life and a different view on the things that are going on than what might be the popular belief structure. And that's okay. When we are in soul alignment, when we are following that soul message, we're not typically going to run in the popular common belief structure. Average and ordinary is not something who is in soul alignment really truly gets on board with. Average and ordinary is a control-based thought. Average and ordinary brings us into a container. When we are looking for being normal, we are looking to sit into a container and have our fellow peers look back at us and say, oh yeah, you're doing great because you're acting like us, you're suffering like us, you're thinking like us, you're making just that amount of money, you're not getting into any uncomfort zone, you look like us, your relationship has the same challenges as us, and that's normal. And then you feel like, oh, I'm normal, that's great. But when you're in soul alignment takes you a completely different way. And people who are messaging soul alignment based content out there, which I know I see a lot of what is referred to as lifestyle education and lifestyle coaching. And I'm not talking about the lifestyle swinging. I'm talking about lifestyle like selling prosperous life, selling abundance, marketing abundance, marketing the law of attraction, marketing thriving, marketing happiness, marketing joy, marketing connection. And it's not even that people are looking for the money aspect. It's not. That marketing is to reveal that, yes, you can thrive. Yes, you can have love. You can have abundance. You are that message right there, that there's a lot more people messaging. Okay, so those messages out there, that's coming from that soul alignment place. And what's being said is, how dare you do that? I mean, like, I just got a message on my personal profile. I've gotten a few of them, but the other day, it was like, how dare you post this? This is wrong for you to post this on your business page. I'm like, hello, this is on my personal profile. And even if it was on my business page, it's still just me. I'm just sharing me. My work is me, my views, my takes, how I live, the lessons I've learned, teaching people how to, pause in life, teaching people how to find joy and happiness in the little moments as well as the big moments, teaching people how to connect, how to thrive, because I've been in that shit. Right? I've got tales galore to tell of times when I couldn't pay my bills, when I was homeless, when I experienced physical abuse, rape, growing up as a really poor person, all these different things. I can tell a million and one ego things. I burnt my wedding dress and my wedding ring on one day because I got into this nasty fight with my husband. And so him and we got into this fight, and I was going to show him. So I went inside and I got my wedding dress and I threw it into the outside fire pit that we had. And then I got even madder, and then I took my wedding band off and I threw it into the fire too. And I remember the ego of that. And I remember my hatred in that. And yesterday I was sitting down with a client, and she was spewing out all this stuff to me, and she was telling me, like, I just feel like flipping the house over upside down, and I feel like doing this, and I feel like doing that. And I'm like, I've been there, right? I've been there. I don't feel that way. Even when I get upset today's existence, I don't get upset to that level. I've learned so many things so much about psychology, so much about our emotions, so much about spiritual aspects and how everything plays together, how it's all interwoven. I have learned about the power of empowerment, the power of embodiment, and learning like how to really move through life in such a more peaceful, loving, compassionate state, providing grace for self and love for self, which comes across quite often as selfishness. And people don't know how to handle that when you state your truth, and when you're like, actually, I'm a no to that. I'm not good with that. That's a no. And they're like, how can you be so selfish? You should think about me first. Like, I should be your top priority. That's so selfish of you to not give me what I want here, to not do this, to not do that. And I was like, really? That's selfish? Me not giving to you exactly what you want is selfish. But you know what? Average and ordinary thinks that that's selfish. Average and ordinary thinks that we're responsible for each other's emotions, feelings, actions. Average and ordinary believes that suffering is just a way of life. Average and ordinary believes that you can't make money just being you. Average and ordinary believes that you're not worthy. Average and ordinary believes that you should bear the burden of shame and guilt. Average and ordinary believes that you should give a shit what somebody else thinks of you more than what you think of you. Average and ordinary thinks that it's not okay to be you, even on social media, that you need to put on a facade, that it's bad business to be you. You know what I say to average and ordinary? That's what I say to average and ordinary. It is definitely bullshit. It's fucked up thinking, in my opinion. Take it or leave it. Agree with me. Don't disagree with me. I don't really care. I get told all the time, I'm unfollowing you. I'm like, great. Thanks for telling me that you're not my tribe. Let's get this out of the way now. Like, I don't want you to follow me. I'll find my tribe. The universe will bring me my tribe. The universe will bring me the people that I'm supposed to associate with, that I'm supposed to help, that I'm supposed to connect with. Those people will come. That's the law of attraction. And whether we are in a position like myself, where I am helping other people move through their shit and learn how to thrive, whether it is, for money, or if it is free content, or just doing a phone call with a friend, the universe provides the right scenarios all the time. And when somebody's not in line with us, then they let us know, right? And they typically bitch their way right out the door, and they yelp and moan and complain and go out kicking and screaming and wanting to mean something to us when they really get the feeling that they don't. Because it's not that they don't matter, they do matter. Every single person on this planet matters. But we do have soul tribes, and that means that we are operating on similar frequencies, operating with similar thoughts and emotions, views on the world. And when somebody is not operating underneath that, for whatever our personal frequency is, right? Whatever our vibe is, which attracts our tribe, well then, they tend to go away. And we sometimes get our feelings hurt over that. And we think, wow, I'm sad that person left. Or, wow, I just lost 100 people on my newsletter list today. Or I just dropped 200 people on my follow list on my business page. Or somebody really bashed the shit out of me and told me that I was a bad citizen and that they wish that I'd go into a deep dark cave and die. And it's like, great. Thanks for sharing. And thanks for letting me know that you're not my people. Thank you. Thank you for that. Now, I might get hit a little bit harder than some out there, but I share this message because I know that a lot of my beautiful people who do follow me, who are my tribe, a raindrop, who are my tribe, that you guys are going through the same thing. And it can be tough. It can be really, really tough when we get hit with crap. I've been reading some friends' posts and the ridicule and the shame and the stuff, the hatred that's coming out to everybody who is a freedom-based thinker. And I just want you to know that you're not alone. I want you to know that your tribe's out here. And those people, they don't deserve you. They don't deserve your wisdom. They don't deserve your light. And someday, they will learn. Someday, they hopefully will find love within themselves so that they can start loving the world the way you love the world. And so I encourage you to keep shining your light, keep speaking your messages out there, even though they may not be popular. If they make you feel good because they are your soul messages, if it is your truth when you share something either on social media or verbally with a friend, or just glancing at somebody and giving them a smile, then keep doing it. Don't let somebody else's internal babbling bullshit take you away from your light, because the world needs you, especially now. In these times that appear so dark, we need to create the light that we can feel inside of us. We are the change, but we've got to make contact with us. We've got to speak those soul messages. Years ago, maybe 5 or 6, not that many moons ago. It's not a decade ago, but maybe 5 or 6. I was out for breakfast tacos with my ex and the kids. And we went to this little place called Rusty Taco. And we went and we sat down. We ordered breakfast tacos. And I remember sitting there and I'm like dealing with my then probably 1-2-year-old son. He's throwing eggs and bacon all over the place and dumping salt on the table and being just a 1-year-old. And I was all caught up in a little bit of frustration with him, being that mom, I get frustrated with my kids too. And then all of a sudden I got everything dealt with, and I took a bite of my food and a sip of my coffee, and I'm just staring out this window across the room. I'm staring out this window, and I was just trying to find my center, because I just dealt with a squawky 1-2-year-old, right? So I'm just like, and I'm staring out, watching the traffic go by. That's all I was doing, was just watching the traffic go by. This woman at a booth across the restaurant floor from me is talking to this man. She looks over at me and she gives me this evil look, and I didn't really catch it because I wasn't present to her, but I'm guessing she was giving me an evil look because of what happened next. I'm looking through her, watching the traffic on the other side of her, completely off in La La Land in my own head, right? just thinking about stuff. And so all I catch is she stands up, she starts screaming obscenities at me, screaming the F word at me, calling me names, telling me not to look at her, telling me not to judge her, telling me that I'm criticizing her and how what a judgmental bitch I am, and all this kind of stuff. And she's pointing, and she points at the guy that she's with, and she's like, can you believe this bitch over there staring at me, blah, 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 blah. And she just goes off. She makes this humongous scene in the restaurant. And I shrunk. I shrunk in that moment because I was totally taken back. I was like, what the heck? I did nothing. I didn't even see the woman. She wasn't my focus. I didn't even really notice that she was there. I saw her, but she was like a blur. My focus was on the cars. I wasn't thinking about her. I still don't even know what she looked like today. There was zero judgment coming from me toward her. But she perceived something different because of what was going on inside of herself, because of the judgment, the criticism, the self-hatred, the contempt that she felt for her life and for her situation and for where she was at inside of herself. I think that is a perfect tale as to where our world is at, because there's a lot of people that are acting just like that. And it's really difficult to see past their pain and not want to shrink, not want to stop sharing, not want to clam up and hide. It's difficult to not feel responsible in some way when somebody attacks us or when they make these statements. But I assure you that as long as you are speaking from your soul place, that soul alignment, that beautiful heart, that yes, the path may not feel easy at times, and these people will definitely make themselves known to us. But think of the lives that you are helping. Think of the support that you are giving the world that is evolving. Think of the support that you are giving your loved ones. Think of the light that you are beaming out to the world. If you know that you are coming from a place of love and not fear, then keep preaching it. Keep sharing it. Keep being the beautiful, dynamic you that you are, because the world really does need it. And when you feel contempt toward judgment toward another, when you desire to control another's thoughts, look no further than your own internal world, because the things that we see in others that irritate us and cause frustration and hatred are all signs of what's really going on inside of ourselves. So if you want to see more peace in this world and you're feeling a little bit angry at something, even when somebody's like messaging you hate stuff, breathe it in and own it. Let yourself feel that anger. Let yourself feel the sadness. Own that shit. And then go inside yourself and come back to that beautiful heart space. Get into a meditation. Take a walk in nature. Find something to laugh about. Play with your dog or your cat, your child. Kiss your partner. Do something that brings you back to right here. Because right here is where you need to be. This world needs more people operating from here and being true to themselves and speaking their truth, even if it's not popular. Okay, on that note, the birds are chirping. The rain has not hit yet. I've got a house full of little munchkins. I think, how many little ones do I have here? I've got my 2, plus my 3 grandbabies are here. So I got 5 kids under the age of 7 in this cabin. And then I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teens, 20 years down to 14 in the cabin. And then 4 adults. So it's going to be a fun few days of hiking and horseback riding and all that good stuff. Mother Nature, and just tending to the hearth of this home and everything. And I wish you guys a beautiful weekend. Here tomorrow with another message from my soul to yours, as always, standing in my truth as I encourage you to do, knowing your worthiness, knowing your light, and sharing it. I love you guys. Remember, as always, you are worthy of that thriving, dynamic, turned on life. You are worthy of abundance. Keep your focus on the things that you want to manifest, not on the nightmares that are so greatly moving around all of us right now. So keep your focus on your heart centers. I love you guys, and I will catch you tomorrow. As always, remember, stop existing, start living. See you guys tomorrow.